Hey everybody, welcome back to Mixing Music Analog and mixingmusicanalog.com and here on the YouTube channel. And today is the big reveal between the Neumann MT48 and the Presonus Quantum 4848. Which track was which? Talk a little bit about what I heard in the room here. And then I'll let you know which one is which. The big reveal. So if you missed last week's video where I told you about the files, we left the files in the description box below so you could download the two files and listen to them for yourself. And I told you how the test was set up. You can click the link in the description box and you can check that out. This week we're just going to talk about which one was which and what do I think. So that's what we're going to do. So like, share, subscribe, and all of that. Okay. So here's the first thing. What's the big reveal? Which one was which? There were true print tracks, print 1 and print 2. One was through the Presonus Quantum 4848. The other one was through the Neumann MT48, printed at 96K. Back in one print right after the other. Nothing else was touched. Which one is which? So let me make sure I get this right. So print number 1 was the Neumann MT48, right? Print number 2 was the Quantum 4848. Okay, so now you know which ones were which. Well, check out the comments below. Were you right? Were you wrong? Did you hear any difference at all? Right? Most people don't really hear a difference. Some of you swear you hear a difference. Some of you think you know what it is. And then most times when we do all these converter tests, when people guess which one is which, and that's what it is, it's usually a guess. I'd say 80% of the people guess it incorrect, which is staggering. And that was the case when we did the Apollo, the Dangerous Music, the Neve, the Burl. Everyone thinks they know what the difference is, and most people don't. So maybe you got this one right. Hey, 5's a charm, right? Okay. So what did I hear? Once again, just like, and again, we did this test, why? Because we have the Merging Technologies converter in there. A lot of people claim that's a mastering grade converter, and that is going to make all the difference in the world. So I did what a lot of you did. I put it up here in my DAW. I looped different sections of music, 4 bars, 8 bars, and went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And just like with all the other converters that we did, there is a very hard time. I had a very hard time really hearing any difference. If there is a difference, it is unbelievably subtle that, again, if you listen to it long enough, you can probably convince yourself there's somewhat of a difference, right? Now, again, in the Neumann, like I said in part 1, when we're plugging into the line ins, we're not bypassing the preamp of the Neumann preamps. And that's just the way the unit is designed. There is no way to bypass the preamp. But according to Neumann, those are ultra clean, ultra transparent preamps that you shouldn't even be able to hear the difference between the preamp, but just know that the preamp is there. You can't bypass it, okay? So again, does that have any bearing on what I was hearing? Again, I don't think so. I mean, I was really trying to focus in on the transients, on the EQ, on the snare and kick in particular, on the lead vocal, background vocals. And again, there were times where I was going back and forth and back and forth. And I thought maybe at one point I might have heard a little bit more upper mids in one of them. And then I would listen to another section of the song and I couldn't hear any difference at all. And again, the longer you listen to it, the longer you can convince yourself there's a difference. But I will say in the first, 5 minutes of me listening to it, you could have flipped back and forth 100 times. I couldn't tell you when they were being changed back or forth. It's so unbelievably subtle. So what does that mean? Well, to me, that means what I've been learning all along here and during these tests that we're doing with these converters, and that is, look, if you have a good quality piece of gear, no matter who the manufacturer is, in our case, it's the Presonus Quantum 4848, which again, I know they're discontinued, so you can't get them, but when they were new, they were $1,500 to $1,600. So it's a good quality piece of equipment. It's not a $99 interface, right? So if you have a good quality piece of equipment, $1,000 and higher, some would say even lower than that, the converters are just fine. There is no real difference between all these different converters. Is there a subtle difference? Maybe. Is this whole thing around a mastering grade converter really mean anything? Again, I personally think for people that really want to know what I think, that are really trying to learn, I think most of that, from my experience, is marketing, hype, and a lot of nonsense, to be honest. Now, that's not to say that there's not some real high-end set of converters out there, whoever the manufacturer is, again, I don't know, that there is a difference. So in other words, if you went to a real mastering studio, I mean a real one, right? A pro-level mastering studio, not a guy working in his bedroom that says he's a mastering engineer, right? I mean a real studio that masters professional, commercially released records, where they have a purpose-built room and all they do is master. And they're using the highest end monitors, the highest end converters, the highest end cabling, where everything is top shelf stuff. Whatever converters that they may be using by whatever company that makes those converters and the circuitry around the converters, is that make a difference? I would probably, yes, I'm sure it does. I have no firsthand experience in that. I don't know what converter that would be or what set of converters that would be. And I don't even know how much that would cost. So yeah, if you're talking, you know, $10,000 plus for a set of, for a 2-channel set of converters, does that make a difference in a real mastering house? I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. But for what I do and for what 99.99999% of the people that watch this channel and watching this video right now, your converter is just fine. And I know there's 50% of yous, maybe, let's say, that are out there that you're convinced. There's no data that myself or David S.J., who's going to do our deep dive analysis on this, there's no data that I can bring you that's going to change your mind. There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to convince you. And that's okay. I'm not here to try to convince you. I'm just here to try to share. So part of the people that are watching this video, you've already drank the Kool-Aid. You believe there's that much of a difference. So go out and buy the box that you think makes a difference. That's great. We all hear things a little different. And out of all the converters that we've done here, tests that we've done, if you heard a particular box that you thought was great, then that's the box that you should buy. That's fine. For the other half or so that are really trying to learn or are really curious and open-minded enough, which is a big one, are really curious about learning and are considering upgrading or thought about upgrading their converters because they've heard that if they get a better converter, they're going to have a better final result. I would tell you with all honesty that if you have a good quality piece of gear already, whatever converter you're using is fine. And if you're not happy with the final result of your product, it has little to do with the converter, if anything at all. Right? You probably have a bunch of other things inside of your workflow and signal chain that would have way more impact on the final print track and the result and the sound of your productions than your converter. The first thing being your skill, obviously, right? Obviously. It's not the gear, it's the skills as of the engineer. That goes without saying, but sometimes I have to say that because we get a lot of new people at the channel and I want to make sure people don't misconstrue what I'm saying. The skills is what matter, not the equipment. Once you get beyond the skills and you got good skills and you're learning and you're continuing to get better, does the gear matter? Yes, it matters. How much does it matter? It depends on what we're talking about and where it is in your signal flow. And the converter, to me, from what I've learned and my experience up to this point, has very little to do with the end results if you have a quality piece of equipment. And I feel that the Presonus Quantum 4848 is a good quality piece of equipment. It's not a $99 interface, it's a $1,500 interface, okay? So we know it's a good quality piece of equipment. But like I said in other videos, all the other converters that we've tested on this channel, including the MT48 by Neumann, are wonderful pieces of equipment. They're all great. There's not a bad one in the bunch. Any one of those that you buy or have or own are gonna be just fine. It's all a matter of your particular rig and your workflow, your needs, and your personal tastes, okay? But if you have a good quality interface and set of converters already, I would caution you to just upgrade to the next set of converters because you read somewhere or someone in one of our comments in one of our videos who claims to know the differences and thinks they know the differences because they read something somewhere. I would be cautioning you on that. Or what I tell you to do is you could do exactly what I did here. Get out your good old Sweetwater credit card, buy the converter that you think is going to make all the difference in the world and set it up just like I did here and do your own A/B comparison. If it's not enough of a change to justify the cost, you can always return it for a full refund. That's what I love about Sweetwater. And I will link, again, all the different converters that we tested here, Sweetwater links, so you can check those out if you're interested in one of them. And again, thank you, those are affiliate links, so I do appreciate you if you do shop there with my link. Thank you so much. So honestly, am I keeping the MT48 as a print track converter? No. It doesn't make any sense for me to do that. There's not enough of a difference. I really don't hear any difference. And if I thought I might have heard something, it's such a small amount, it doesn't make sense. Plus, that particular unit is really a desktop audio interface. It's really the wrong unit just to use as a print track. But if I thought that those merging technology converters were so much better than the Quantums, I would get another box. I think Lynx Aurora, or there's a couple others that some of you guys have mentioned that have the same converters in there or something of that grade. And then I would just buy the appropriate unit for this particular rig. The MT48 really isn't that. But as a straight-on audio interface, and again, you can go watch the videos at Home Recording Made Easy, it's a wonderful piece of equipment, the MT48. It really is. But for what I would be doing with it here in this rig, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't hear the difference. Or I hear it's so small, like I said, it's insignificant in my opinion. So I'd be curious to know what you think below. I know we're going to get the people that swear they hear the difference, and that's great. And again, I would ask if you're going to comment on it, cool comments, be cool, be respectful. But some things that I've noticed recently, especially with this MT48, there's a few people that are commenting about the stuff and they actually don't even own one, you know, because I've asked them. They're commenting about things that they've read, and they're commenting and acting like they actually use the unit on a daily basis, and you come to find out they don't even own the piece of gear. So again, when you read comments, and I try to sift through all those things and make so when you guys are reading through the comments, you're getting good information from people who actually have hands-on experience. If you don't have hands-on experience with this stuff, please, I would ask you, don't write comments like you do. You know, if you read something or heard something, great, but say that. But don't try to come across like you know firsthand when you don't even own the equipment, have never even used it. And again, that's just part of our internet world, and that's the way it is. And I try to head that off at the pass so you guys don't have to see that, because I want to try to give you guys the most accurate information as I can and just be straight and honest with you. So anyway, let me know what you think below. Again, I hope you enjoyed this test. In about a week or so, you'll see David S.J.'s deep dive analysis, where he'll take these things in and he'll do his little deep dive and do all of that and see again, do we visually see anything? The things no, all of that stuff that you guys want to see, so we can kind of wrap up this whole series on the MT48. And then I think, again, we're done with converters for now. I don't think there's a reason to do any other converters. There isn't. I've already done enough of them. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, if any at all. And again, that's just my opinion for what it's worth to you guys. So thank you so much for watching me today. I really do appreciate it. Again, go to mixingmusicanalog.com. Check out the hybrid mixing courses if you want to learn more about working in the analog hybrid workflow. And yeah, until next time, I've been Dave with Mixing Music Analog and mixingmusicanalog.com. Thank you everyone for watching me today. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.